This is a story called The Little Monsters, Chapter 86. The kids go to summer camp and cause havoc. It's almost the school summer holidays and the kids have all been told by their parents that they will be going away for 4 weeks to summer camp. Their parents have told them that they don't have to go if they don't want to, and it's completely up to them. After seeing what's on offer at the camp, they agree to give it a go. Leading up to it, they're all quite excited and they start to get all of their joke stuff together. During the first week of the summer holidays, the kids stayed at home so that they could spend time with their families before going to the summer camp. On the day they go, they are all super excited and they can't wait to get there. On the first day, they had to be at the camp by 11 a.m. and it took 3 hours to get there, so they set off at 7:30 a.m. Their parents took them and dropped them off. They stayed and helped them settle in, and then they said goodbye and left. As soon as they left, the kids got out their pincushions and went round, putting them in the other kids' beds sneakily, of course. Then they went outside and a member of staff spoke to them. He explained the routine to them and told them about the activities that were available. He told them that breakfast was at 8 a.m, lunch was at 12 p.m, tea was at 4 p.m, supper was at 7 p.m, and bedtime was at 9 p.m. The activities they could do were rock climbing, canoeing, kayaking, hang gliding, woodwork, swimming, climbing wall, trampolining, cycling, horse riding, art, music, running, badminton, tennis, rope walking, rounders, basketball, competitions, pool, snooker, roller skating and soft play amongst other things. The kids were required to take part in activities every day, but of course they did get some free time so they could play or do whatever they chose to do. There was a play park that was locked when all the activities were going on and was open during the kids' free time, which was 4:30 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. After 8:30 p.m. the gates to the park were locked and no one was allowed on there. That first night when everyone went to bed, the kids waited to hear the other kids scream when they got into bed and sat on the pincushions. Then they heard screaming on the landing and they went to see what was going on. When they looked, there were some kids running about with a pincushion stuck in their bums. Everyone was howling with laughter. It turned out that they knew the little monsters as they went to their school. When everyone else went to their rooms, the kids told the little monsters that they'd get them back somehow. The following morning, everyone was in the dining hall having breakfast when Kicker suddenly flicked a spoon full of porridge at one of the other kids, so they did the same thing back to her. When the other kids saw what was happening, they joined in, causing mayhem. This went on for about 10 minutes until a member of staff came in and blew the whistle and said, "What on earth do you kids think you're doing? Who started this?" No one answered and Kicker didn't want everyone to get into trouble for something that she started, so she put her hand up and said, "It was me, miss, I started it." Then Stumpy put his hand up and said, "It wasn't Kicker who started it, miss, it was me, I started it." Then Stumpy put his hand up and said, "It wasn't Stumpy or Kicker, miss, it was me." Then Grumpy put his hand up and said, "It wasn't them lot, miss, it was me, I did it." Then Creeper put her hand up and said, It wasn't them lot, miss, it was me." Then all the other kids put their hands up and said together, "It wasn't them, miss, it was me." Then everyone laughed, even the staff member, Miss Bumblebee. She told everyone to clean up the mess and themselves and to make their way to their activities. Everyone did as they were told, but later that day at tea time, Bumpy fired a load of peas at Stumpy, so he did it back to her. However, when he did it back to her, he missed and hit another kid, so he did it back to him. Then everyone else joined in, and when a member of staff, Mr. Wasp, walked in, someone threw some food and it hit him in the face. He picked them up by their ear and said, "Just what do you think you're doing, boy?" Then he picked up a handful of mashed potato and rubbed it in the boy's face, making everyone laugh. Then he said, "Clean up your mess, all of you." Then he walked away laughing. That night, when all the other kids were enjoying their first free time, the gang went round putting their toy rattlesnakes in the other kids' beds. That night, when anyone got into bed, the rattlesnakes bit them, causing them to jump out of bed, howling in pain, much to the gang's amusement. That night, the gang sneaked across the landing to the staff quarters and put their pincushions in the staff's beds. When they got into bed, the pincushions stuck in their bums, causing them to jump out of bed, howling in pain, much to everyone's amusement. The next morning, when everyone was in the dining hall having breakfast, someone threw a spoonful of cornflakes at Kicker. She threw some back, causing a full-scale food fight to start again. About 10 minutes later, a member of staff who was known as Miss Butterfly walked in just as Creeper threw a spoonful of cereal at another kid. However, the cereal missed who it was aimed at and hit Miss Butterfly in her face. She went over to Creeper and poured the rest of her cereal over her head, much to everyone's amusement. Everyone got cleaned up and then went to their activities. As the day went by, the kids played constant pranks on everyone. They were at the running tracks and they went round putting fart gas in as many bottles of water as they could without getting caught. When anyone drank the water, all they did was constantly fart. Every day during their 4 weeks at the camp, they constantly played pranks on people. Nearly every day they put fart gas in people's drinks and fart sweets in their food, causing everyone to constantly fart, even the staff. One day the gang went round with their toy cats and got people to stroke them, causing them to bite and scratch them. Another day they gave out their sweets that made everyone's mouths feel like they were on fire. The day after that, they went round putting their toy rats on the floor, causing mayhem. Everyone jumped up on their chairs and started screaming. Then someone shouted, "They're not real, they're toys." Everyone laughed and got down. On the very last day, the gang went round putting itching powder down the back of everyone's necks and trousers. They targeted one member of staff who was known as Mr. Barmy because he was totally barmy and put itching powder down the back of his neck and trousers. He was constantly going round the campus scratching his bum and the back of his neck. Then it was time for everyone to say goodbye and to go home. They'd made some amazing memories and friends and they all agreed to keep in touch with each other. They swapped addresses and telephone numbers and promised to ring and write to each other on a regular basis. End of chapter 86. Thanks for watching, guys. Love yous. Bye.